Hey, what's up guys? My name is Sal, and this is another expedition log. On today's expedition, we're going out to Alexandria, Virginia, to the abandoned Landmark Mall. But before it was the Landmark Mall, it was something entirely different. In 1955, real estate broker, investor Omer Lee Hearst purchased 47 acres of land in Alexandria, Virginia, just northeast of the Shirley Highway and Duke Street interchange. Mr. Hearst would later go on to become the senator for Annandale and Fairfax counties in the Virginia Senate from 1964 to 1979. In 1957, the Alexandria Planning Commission approved Hearst's request to develop a large regional shopping center on the site. After forming the Alexandria Partnership with a fellow group of investors, Hearst announced plans to build the 675,000 square foot Landmark Center in 1963. The anchors would be Sears Roebuck and Company, Woodward and Lothrop, and the Hecht Company. Complementing the three anchors would be a smaller open-air retail space. The Washington Post claimed that this was, quote, the first time on the East Coast that three major department stores will locate in one shopping center. The Alexandria Partnership hired New York-based architecture firm Abbott, Merkt and Company to design the Landmark Center. The shopping center would feature concrete benches, planters, and overhangs for environmental protection. So much concrete. The firm chose the folio font in the Bauer font family for the Landmark Center sign, and they mixed upper and lowercase characters to emphasize the coexistence of large anchors and smaller stores. The formal dedication was held on August 4th, 1965, when Sears and Hecht's opened. An estimated 15,000 cars circulated the parking lot that day. On October 11th, Woody's then opened along with 24 small specialty shops, bringing the Landmark Center to full capacity. In 1969, the Washington Post described it as, quote, a concrete oasis of parking spaces, gleaming shops, and air-conditioned modernity. Over the next decade, new malls in Tysons Corner, Fairfax, Manassas, and Woodbridge were direct competition. They were more modern, larger, and enclosed. Other nearby malls were also undergoing the conversion to enclosure, such as Wheaton Plaza and Ballston Commons. The Alexandria Partnership sold the Landmark Center to International Income Properties in 1984. They immediately announced their plans of demolishing the open-air structures to build a 3-story mall, while retaining the original anchor-owned structures. The small shops were closed during the winter of '86 and '87, and on January 23, 1988, the groundbreaking was held for the new $140 million Landmark Mall. The official ribbon cutting for Landmark Mall took place on August 16, 1990. The Alexandria Symphony even made a special appearance in concert inside the mall during a 3-day celebration for the mall's grand opening. Today, the Landmark Mall sits abandoned. Its parking lots are now used for car dealerships, and it has seen some other purposes recently. But the history goes deep. And for a mall as beautiful as Landmark to fall, you have to wonder why. I was incredibly fortunate to be able to get inside of this mall. The doors were all completely unlocked, and had I found a locked door, I would have turned around immediately. But I was incredibly fortunate to find a way into this mall to document it one last time before its demolition. So come take a walk with me inside the now abandoned Landmark Mall. But first, a word from our sponsor. That guy sitting in the chair in the Maxell commercial with his hair blowing because of Ride of the Valkyries, you know the guy.
The usual, sir?
Please.
Even after 500 plays, our high-fidelity tape still delivers high fidelity. Maxell, it's worth it.
With the rise of the internet and the growing popularity of mixed-use town centers during the 90s, Landmark Mall was already playing catch-up with its late renovation and enclosure. Despite a near 95% occupancy, Landmark lost its first anchor after Woody's filed for bankruptcy in 1994 and vacated the following year. The space was then taken over by Lord & Taylor. The first in a series of mergers and acquisitions that would decide Landmark's inevitable fate took place in 1996. While not directly trading Landmark Mall, this set the stage for its inevitable last owner. In 1996, the Rouse Company paid $520 million in cash for the Howard Hughes real estate portfolio, making Hughes a subsidiary of Rouse. Then, in 1999, US Prime Incorporated was acquired by General Growth Properties, who took ownership of Landmark. At this point of the expedition, I had been looking around these back corridors for about an hour now. Every time I would open a door to find a new hallway, that door would lock behind me. So I would find a new staircase, I'd go up it, and I'd see all these doors, and most of them were locked. And I did start to have a panic attack because the air was getting incredibly thick and there was no circulation, and I had no reception on my cell phone, so nobody knew where I was. Right now, at this point in 2018, after having explored about 60 different places, a lot of them very sketchy, this was the scariest point in my expedition log series. I definitely thought something bad was going to happen. But just then, all of the right doors started opening. It was like magic. And it felt like a cool breeze on my face in the middle of a desert.
Listen up! I'm not here to babysit your candy waste. I'm here to make you better Nintendo players. So what does Mario do here, Mr. Jackson?
What wrong?
Wrong. You. Wrong.
Do a little dance.
Wrong.
To get better at Nintendo, pick up Super Secret Game Kits and packages of Pepsi and Festival. You can win one of thousands of Super Nintendo Entertainment Systems delivered via Federal Express.
No, I want you in my office now.
This kid's an animal. You can win Super Nintendo with Pepsi.
In 2004, General Growth sought approval to redevelop Landmark, saying, quote, "It was becoming increasingly obsolete as the retail world and consumer preferences continue to evolve." Shortly after this proposal, they then purchased the Rouse Company for a deal estimated at $12.6 billion after cash, options, and debt. The following year, the May Company, who owned Hecht's, merged with Federated Department Stores and chose to convert their Landmark location into a Macy's. The city of Alexandria finally approved General Growth's redevelopment request, but it would never materialize. In 2009, General Growth failed to pay nearly $900 million in loans, which were backed by their Las Vegas properties as collateral. They then filed for bankruptcy on April 16, 2009. Lord & Taylor closed in July 2009, stating that their customers would be better served at the Tysons Corner location. In February of 2010, General Growth were bailed out when Brookfield Asset Management made a near $3 billion equity investment to save the company. After exiting bankruptcy protection in November 2010 and paying their creditors in full, General Growth recovered most of their investment. During their reorganization period, the company decided to starburst the Howard Hughes Corporation into an independent entity, who became the new owner of the Landmark Mall. The Hughes Corporation proposed a bold redevelopment plan to the city of Alexandria in fall of 2012. After overhauling the proposal to incorporate the anchor-owned buildings at the insistence of said anchors, the plan was approved in June 2013.
I'd like to buy the world a home and furnish it with love.
The mall failed to perform over the coming years, and Macy's announced their departure from Landmark on January 4th, 2017. Concordantly, mall management notified the few remaining tenants to vacate by January 31st, 2017. If you listen very carefully, you'll hear exactly what spooked me when I was inside of here. As I was walking, I heard a door open and then subsequently slam, and then I heard a radio chirp. And I immediately started to take off. I've actually put off producing this expedition log for quite a long time. When I filmed the Landmark Mall, it was only 2 weeks into me filming any places for the expedition log series. I was already a nervous wreck when I walked in. The minute I heard security upstairs, my heart started pounding. I knew that I needed to get out. Sears still remains as both the first and last anchor tenant. The Macy's is currently being used as a temporary homeless shelter. Just recently, in June 2017, the interior of the mall was used to film scenes for the Wonder Woman sequel, Wonder Woman 1984, which you can see in theaters on November 1st, 2019. Redevelopment and demolition is expected to begin imminently after Wonder Woman 1984 has wrapped filming, and it should take between 1 and 2 years. It's such a cathartic experience to walk around an abandoned mall. This gigantic, gargantuan, beautiful structure that was built to serve and to please millions of people is now sitting completely abandoned. The inside of this mall is still pristine, and that's the way it should be. Vandals, graffiti artists, and anybody who desecrates solemn ground such as this deserves prosecution. Personally, I believe in the archival of every state of a mall, from beginning to the very end. While the ultimate fate for the Landmark Mall has already been decided, I believe that this is how it should be remembered. The redevelopment plans look like a series of apartments, and it's a mixed-use town center. But I'll always remember it like this. Unfortunately, I didn't make it to the second floor, or the third floor at the food court. Once I finally got outside, I couldn't go back through the place that I came in through. I decided to take the staff exit through the back corridor. My car was on the complete opposite side of the mall at this point, so I had to find a way back to it. While I was finding my way back, I encountered more security. I'd like to thank every one of you for watching, and I appreciate you guys so much. We've recently hit 4,000 subscribers, which is mind-bending for me. And I'm so humbled by every one of you subscribing and commenting and getting involved in the conversation.
Okay. Yep.
If you'd like to follow my expeditions in real time, you can do it in 3 ways. You can follow me on Twitter and Instagram, which I do update regularly. The third way is also a Discord server that I have set up for the purpose of explorers and content creators alike. You can find that link in the description below. You can download the app on iOS, Google Play, or on your desktop or laptop. But I just want to thank you all so much one last time for just being awesome. So thanks again, everybody. I'll see you on the next expedition. Take care, everyone.
When I was a kid, my father raised me on stories about Wonder Woman.
That outrageous costume.
The secret belt of strength.
The golden lasso of truth.
You're everything my father said you were. Let's hope she comes around again.
I think you can count on it.
Wonder Woman, next on TV1.